What's up, people? It's Bonnie-tastic here, doing a video discussing Scarlet and Violet, the success of it so far, or the failure of it so far. I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons to English and talking about English a lot in this video. I know I specialise in Japanese, but it makes it easier for me to understand, because obviously with Japan, you have 2 or 3 sets within an English release. If I just say the English release's name, it makes it a bit easier. I'm summing up things, you know, I don't have to go in as much detail. So we're looking at Scarlet and Violet so far, and we're looking at it and we're saying this isn't as good as Sword and Shield. What Sword and Shield are you talking about? Are you talking about the second half, you know, from Eevee Heroes onwards, or from Evolving Skies onwards? Or are you talking about the first half? Because if you remember the first half of Sword and Shield, it wasn't all that good. And if you remember the first half of Sun and Moon, it wasn't all that good. And I suppose the first half of XY is not bad, but if you remember the first half of Black and White, it's not that good. Remember the first half of Diamond and Pearl? It's not that good. The first half of EX. So the first half of EX was called ADV, and it was definitely a more tame version of PCG, which is the second half of the EX era. We had no gold stars in ADV. When you look at Diamond and Pearl, you know, you had your basic 2 to 3 level X's per set, mysterious treasures, nothing crazy going on. Then we evolved into Platinum, where we had shinies and shit like that. We had the Legend series, Heart Gold, Soul Silver after that. Like, it just, these generations get better and better as they go on. Black and White. The first set, Black and White base, you had the secret Mewtwo, and you had secret Pikachu. I think you had the secret Meowth in the second set. You had full arts that weren't even EXs, they were just full arts. I mean, Emerging Powers is rated as the worst release ever. Noble Victories is also shit. So if we're looking at Scarlet and Violet and saying this is a failure, look back at these other generations and compare how fucking good Scarlet and Violet actually is to the start of these other generations. It blows them out of the water. There's no debate to be had. You look at Sun and Moon. You had in the first block of that, the first part of it, you had Guardians Rising and Crimson Invasion. Do you know how fucking terrible both of those sets are? They are diabolical. They're so much worse than Paldea Evolve, so much worse than Scarlet Violet base. You just can't compare them. Even Sword and Shield. It's not. Think about the start of Sword and Shield, because we're in the start of Scarlet Violet, right? You had Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, Champion's Path. These are dead. These are dog shit sets. Like, so when you tell me that Obsidian Flames is doomed and it's the worst release ever, and Paldea Evolved is just the worst thing ever, like, it's not. It's really not. You're comparing that to the peak, the best part of Sword and Shield. You're comparing it to the peak, the best part of Sun and Moon, the tag team sets, because this isn't much worse, in my opinion, than the end of Sword and Shield, which tells me that the future of Scarlet and Violet could blow Sword and Shield out the water. It really could. If this is how we're starting, and we're going to get better, I have faith that it will get better in the second half of the generation. I don't think it's terrible right now, but of course it's not as good as the end of Sword and Shield. But if this is how we're starting out, I mean, I think the potential's really high for Scarlet and Violet. I've actually got quite a bit of faith in it. Does that mean I'm going out and buying loads of boxes? No, I'm not. And it's not because I don't have faith in it. It's just because I feel like we're going to have a long time to be able to buy these boxes. They're printing so many and there's so much negativity. I feel like we're going to have months to be able to buy these early Scarlet Violet sets, in my personal opinion. I could be wrong and they could all go up tomorrow. And I would have missed out. But I feel like I've got time, and so it's not a priority for me. I would rather buy an older box that has the same potential, but it was printed less, or people were a bit more positive about it. You know, that's sort of something I might buy first. But I would like to buy at least one of every English Scarlet Violet box. I don't think it's a bad generation so far. I like the idea that you're getting a holo in every pack, or multiple holos in a pack. You got to put yourself in the mind of a kid again, because that is what these products are aimed at. That's great. That's really exciting to get a holo in every pack. I'd want to... I mean, I hated that when I was younger, buying 2 or 3 packs and not getting a single holo. It was gutting. Because that's your allowance for like a week, 2 weeks. You might not be able to get any more. So now the kids get to go to the shop and get a holo, 2 holos, 3 holos in their packs. It's great. It's fantastic. So I actually don't think it's a terrible thing. But I do understand that can make the prices of the boxes be lower, because the chases are then easier to get and they're less of a chase. So yeah, it does make sense. My point in this video, I just want to really reiterate that, like, you can't compare the peak of an older generation with the low point of a current generation. It's not fair to say, oh, it fell off or it's shit, really, because we haven't seen the second half of the generation. And I think with this future and past gimmick, we can see some really cool stuff happen, honestly. I think we're going to see some really good shit in the second half of Scarlet Violet. I don't know if it will top Sword and Shield, and I don't know if it will top Sun and Moon. It's all subjective, really. I mean, there's certain things in Scarlet Violet I don't like that other people go crazy for. There's certain things in Pokemon that I don't really care for that other people go crazy for. Poncho, Pikachu and all that, like, I understand the rarity of it and that people really like it, but I would never pay that sort of money for those cards. I don't think they look nice. But that's not... My opinion isn't the correct opinion or incorrect, really. It's just an opinion. So, I'm chatting away. It's just, jeez. What do you think? Do you think Scarlet and Violet is shit and it's always going to be shit, and the sets coming out soon are going to be bad as well? And are you really thinking this is the end of Pokemon or whatever? Because personally, I don't think that. I think that this is the start of something good. I think we've just seen some Shiny Treasure EX reveals and they look really positive. They look better than Shiny Star V. I'm pretty positive about how Scarlet Violet's going to go. And yeah, let me know how you're feeling about it. Do you think that it's going to be as good as Sword and Shield? Even better than Sword and Shield? Nowhere near as good?